Welcome to this week's edition of Tom's Life Lab, and once again I have an incredible guest with me today, and that is my friend Raquel Braganza. Raquel is an empowerment life coach and is a big proponent of all things joy, and that's what we're going to get into today. But before we do, welcome Raquel, how are you today?
I'm good, and I'm excited to be with you again.
Excellent. So tell me something that's brought you joy today before we start.
My cup of coffee in the morning is a moment of joy for me. And it's about labeling it joy. So there's something you enjoy, like that makes you smile or that you take some kind of pleasure in. It's about attaching that label and going, this is a moment of joy, because the energy changes in how you feel it.
Yeah.
And a cup of coffee tastes better in your favorite mug.
Yes, and I've got a Raquel Braganza joy mug, which brings me lots of joy that you sent me. So, before we get into joy, then tell us a little bit about Raquel and what's your background? What do you do?
I'm an empowerment life coach. I focus on working with leaders as they navigate change. I want to move them from oh fuck to fuck yeah, which is a completely different energy. Mainly because life shouldn't be dictated by circumstances. So I want your life to be powered by joy and not dictated by your circumstances. So that's really what I do.
Excellent. And who are you working with on, helping
I'm working with
people to find
leaders, but a mum can be a great leader. Anyone who takes responsibility for other people, who feels that other people rely on them, that comes with a lot of responsibility. We don't share how heavy it is to hold our entire world, our responsibilities, our tasks, our dreams, everyone around us. And when you work with joy, you create a world where you can manage your own feelings and you can hold the things that matter to you rather than rely on other people to do that. It's a very empowering tool, and it is my coaching method because dealing with shit doesn't have to be shitty. So you can be enthusiastic about doing something that matters to you, even if it's hard, even if it's challenging. And it's about finding that perspective of not how much longer do I have to go, but how far I've already gone, how far I'm already at.
Yeah. Wow. So we were just chatting before we turned the recording on about joy and what it is. So, tell us what joy means to you. Like, what is it?
To me, it's this feeling of wow. I don't think you can really put words to it, but you feel it when you're really wowed by life. That could be in nature. A lot of my clients feel it in nature, whether it's looking at their garden or witnessing a sunrise or looking at the ocean. But it's also possible through art. You might find a piece of art that just moves you. There isn't anything tangible about it, but you feel it, and it's that feeling. But we have many misconceptions about joy, or the way we see joy is different from my concept of joy. We tend to believe that joy is something that we feel with other people, like in a gathering or when something happens, there's a together experience. And my specific concept of joy is about you and for you. So it's an exclusive thing. So anything that Tom experiences with other people would be an extra joy. My focus is how can you experience joy by yourself, for yourself? And that also leads to another misconception, which is that joy comes to us, like somehow it miraculously arrives like a lottery ticket. And if so, when? Am I going to be a winner? Am I going to get that joy? Is it going to arrive? And I see joy as something that you reach for. You go and you go towards joy. You seek it. You don't wait for it to arrive. It's an action that you take. People believe that joy is big, you know, the balloons and the clapping and the big moment. And for me, joy is about the intensity, and that can be found in the most minute detail. And then when you are in that experience, you are wowed by the power of small, because big things only happen when you have tiny little things that build it up. And it's also about this high intensity, you know, connected to the big, that joy is always like loud and big and super intense. But joy can also be really quiet, really, really soft and really, really quiet. I'm sure that there's moments where you have felt joy deeply, but there was no exuberance. It was comforting, it was reassuring, it was peaceful. So it's trying to incorporate a sense of joy that you can experience daily, that you can create small but powerful rituals throughout your day where you connect to you, because we are our home, aren't we, Tom? And the relationship that you have with you is the longest and the most intense and intimate that you will ever have.
Yeah.
And joy is a powerful practice that brings you back to you and to connecting with you and to loving you. And that there you find beauty beyond your circumstances.
So how do you think that act of going towards joy and
Yes.
finding joy is so useful for us in our life, our work, our happiness?
Because it's empowering that you know that you can choose it, that any moment joy is available to you. And if you're not in it, it's because you're choosing not to be in it. There's also this feeling that a lot of my clients have, which is if you're experiencing something really difficult, that being in joy, or even, you know, a big smile, it almost feels like a betrayal to the depth of your sadness.
Right.
It's this concept that life is either or, you know, I'm either sad or I'm happy. And I see life as also and. You are sad, I'm not denying that, but that doesn't take away how beautiful the sunset is. That doesn't take away the power of your child smiling at you, or how cute your dog is, or, you know, whatever brings you that moment. They're both true, they coexist. But in knowing that joy is within your reach every day, all the time, it empowers you to see that regardless of your circumstances, there's beauty and there's possibility.
Yeah. I was just thinking, Raquel, so a few weeks ago, my partner and I went to the Peak District for the weekend with the dog, and we stayed in a place called Bakewell. And just down the road from Bakewell, there's a church in Baslow where my grandma has a memorial stone. Now she died in 1976, and I was born in 1978, so I never got to meet her, but we decided that we would go to the churchyard and we would try and find her memorial stone, and we found it. And it was just interesting what you said about you can feel two things at the same time, because I felt joy in that moment. I felt joy and I felt connection to have found that, and to have found a piece of my history. But I also felt sad that I never had the opportunity to meet her because she died before I was born, and that just really brought that to life when you were talking about what I was,
That
what I was
coexistence,
experiencing.
that you can feel two things.
Yeah.
And in having that experience and in practicing that experience, Tom, next time it's really hard, it's holding that, but there's beauty also available to me. There isn't just this hardship or this difficulty or this hurt. You know, sometimes we are disappointed, we are hurt, we are in pain for whatever reason. But it isn't a either or, that you have to live in that pain all the time. And that, in that moment, that is bigger, you know, the pain is bigger, the hurt is bigger. The joy that you reach for is not going to be the clapping and the balloons and but it might be the softness of your favorite blanket. It might be your favorite drink by your side. It may be the music that you love. It may be playing that voice message that you saved from someone that you really love, and it's just listening to that brings me that reassurance and brings me that comfort. But that is one of the many shades of joy. So it supports you in the hard, because it becomes that safe, soft landing. When shit lands, you think, I'm not alone. Like, I have resources, I have this to hold, but I have this big strength that supports me in it. Because then you reach for your coffee in your favorite mug. And maybe that day it isn't pulsating like that great, fabulous morning that you have a whole day planned and you're very excited about. But there's a comfort to it of having something that reminds you that pleasure and beauty and aliveness exists around you, regardless of what you're going through.
Yeah. So, like, practically, when you work with your clients, like, how do they? Because I get it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can see how this has value.
Yes.
Just like I can see how, you know, when I'm feeling, say, anxious,
Yes.
and my thoughts are, you know, going 100 miles an hour, and I'm thinking, like, how do I solve this problem? How do I solve it? I know that actually good practice for me is to sit in that and reflect and identify what's going on there, and reflect that I am in an anxious state, and that the anxiety is not necessarily about anything that real. Nothing's going to hurt me. It's just my brain getting on. So I know that it's a good thing for me to recognize that in the moment and to process. But I can't always do it. And I wonder, like, how do you work with people so that they remember that when there are times of trouble, that they have got that joy to rely on and to access that they can go towards?
Well, you start with nothing, right? Like, a lot of people, I'll ask them about joy, or we'll start and they'll go like, I don't really have a lot. Because they're looking at the birthday parties and the balloons, you know, like the big stuff. So you start with asking yourself, what makes you smile? What are the things that bring you some kind of delight or a smile or something? And then we start at the beginning of our conversation here, which is you label it as step 2.
Yeah.
So number 1 is, what do I like? And number 2 is, that thing is now going to be labeled joy. I'm going for joy. And that changes your energy. So you decide that your cup of coffee in the morning is a moment of joy. So you have it with a different energy. And then you add layers to it. So that's the layering piece. So the coffee is great, but it's going to taste better in your favorite mug. And for those lovers of tea, you can get a whole ritual with a tray. And, you know, you can make it as big or as small as you want, but you layer it. How can I make it bigger, better, more powerful? Bigger not in scale necessarily, but more intense. Like, how can I perfect this ritual? And it is only a cup of coffee, but it's going to be so vast in the feelings that it's going to bring you that it changes how you feel. And as you go through this, you decide, oh, my joy is coffee, and my joy is having an amazing shower, and my joy is going out with my dog. You start listing your joys, and you start expanding each of them. And one of them can be that really funny card that always cracks you up. You have that by your workplace. You have a roll-on essential oil because it makes you feel great when you smell it.
Like this one.
You've got one.
Yeah, which I use all the time.
For example,
actually.
in your anxiety moment, once we've done enough joys and we have a list of joys, we can then link them to the emotion. So then you say to me, oh, Raquel, when I feel anxious, maybe the cup of coffee isn't ideal. It isn't a joy that matches that emotion. But if you are in work mode, the roll-on that you smell, because it changes how you feel, that particular smell, you know that's a joy that I go to if I'm at work and I'm feeling that. But if you're not at work, maybe going out with your dog is another physicality that you can experience that sets you free from the mind going, because you're out, because you're in the open space, because you're moving.
Yeah.
So then that's the goal, is that you find joys that match the emotions that you're feeling. When you're sad,
Yeah.
what do you go to? When you're happy, what do you go to? When you're quiet, what's a good one?
Yeah.
But the goal would be that you would have several that exist and take place daily, like in your normal day. And then you'd have others that are weekend only, because it's a different setup, your hours, what you're doing at the weekend. Then you
Mm.
have ones that are seasonal, because it only snows in winter. So there's those
Yeah.
particular joys that you have at Christmas, or that you have on your birthday, because they're special dates. And then you have the ones that you can plan ahead, you know, your weekend away, something that's coming up. Because that brings the preparation, like that pre-stage mode, when you're already looking forward to it, the excitement starts to
Mm.
build, because this thing that I love is coming. And then you do the thing that you love, and then you've created memories that become new joys.
Yeah.
Because at any point, even in your anxiety moment, you can choose to remember something that was super
Yeah.
joyful for you. You can go there. You can go back
Mm.
to that weekend.
Yeah. So just thinking about expectations.
Yeah.
So quite often I think we can be disappointed if our expectations are too high. And I wonder how that interacts with the concept of finding joy. So if I'm looking forward to like an absolutely brilliant weekend, but actually the weekend's a bit of a disaster because, we were going to something that was outside and it ends up throwing it down and we're freezing cold all weekend or whatever. Like, how does that sort of interact, those two
Those
things?
two interact by you having a menu of joys,
Mm,
right?
right.
So you have this big one that you're looking forward to. Imagine that it is you're going for a weekend away in the sun. Like the sun is the piece of the weekend that we really want. And then you get there and it's rubbish weather, right? This is the
Mm,
disappointment that you're talking about. Like my expectations have not been met. When that happens, you still have the joy of your favorite coffee. You still
yeah.
have the joy of the ocean if you are close to the ocean. You still have the joys that you know that are your joys, and you connect
Mm,
to those. You connect to
yeah.
the things that are available to you. They are always available. It's about practicing them, because generally, when we have a disappointment, when our expectations aren't met, we stay in that frustration piece of, it didn't happen for me, it isn't here, what I'm going to do now, why did it go this way?
Mm,
Whereas I've done it enough to feel the disappointment and go, but there's always a joy.
yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes I don't go for joy straight away, Tom.
Mm,
Sometimes I want to feel pissed off. Like I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm frustrated. I want to call my friend and say, this is rubbish and the sun didn't come for me, and I
mm,
was waiting for the sun, and how dare the sun not turn up. Because you need that outing. Like, it's not just fairy tales and little rainbows everywhere. Like, you need to process what you do feel.
mm,
But in knowing that I have many of the joys available to me, I know that one is not available to me today. The sun
yeah.
hasn't come out. But that good book that I took is, and my podcast that I love listening to is, and the friend that I went with, or my boyfriend, or my girlfriend, or my
Mm,
children, whoever I went with, they're there for me to enjoy.
yeah.
And the rituals that you've created, they can continue. And the beauty of it, as you enter the world of joy, is that you become a treasure hunter. That's
Yeah.
the goal. You need to be tracking for more joys and new joys, because they're everywhere. The joy that
Yeah.
you found that weekend of, I want to go and find my grandmother, you haven't had that before. That was a new experience for you. But
Mm,
just like you had that one, there's a multitude of them awaiting you now. And there's a different energy. For example, if you lost your keys, you're going to be like, oh my God, if I don't have the keys and I can't get into the car and I can't go, and what's that going to mean? Da, 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 da. So you are searching for something that you
mm,
need, the keys. And in a treasure hunt, you're doing the same action. You are also searching, but you're excited about what you're going
yeah.
to find out. So it's the
Yeah.
same action of searching, but one is the dread of, oh my God, what happens if I don't get it? And the other one is the excitement and the curiosity of what is it going to be? And so the more you experience your joys and you feel the delight of them, the more you track for more joys. Like, where is my next one that I haven't found out yet?
Yeah.
And then your day is confettied with the coffee, the essential oil that you smell, the funny card, the voice message that you love, your favorite song. You just have many occurrences of pleasure, of beauty, of connection. And now you feel good a lot more. And that is the main goal that I have for my clients, is that independence of feeling good from others.
Yeah.
Like, you don't require me anymore to make you feel good, to turn up for you, to give you something. When I do, it's a delight.
Yeah.
But when I don't, you give that to you. The things that you long to feel, you can reach for them and give yourself that. And once you are independent from others and feeling good, your power, your energy, it changes, Tom.
Yeah. Because I was interested, you've given a few examples as we've talked through here. Like, you've talked about coffee, and you talked about the shower, and talked about, walking your dog or whatever. Like, give me some examples. Like, how do you personally find your joy? What do you move towards to get your joy, Raquel?
I love music. I love words. I love blue skies and sunshine.
Yeah, you moved from Portugal to the UK, despite wanting sunshine.
For example, now it's beautiful blue sky out there, but that doesn't always the case. I have photos of blue skies on my office because I just love it. It makes me smile. I love my coffee. I love my shower. This joy exercise that, this practice that I'm describing to you, it arrived in my life at a time where my whole life imploded. And everything I relied on wasn't available anymore. And in the mix of that agony, I've always been very, very joyful. As a person, I have that energy. I have big, big joy. But I lost it. Like, I just didn't have any capacity anymore. I was alive, but I was like dying inside. And I couldn't control my circumstances. I couldn't do it. And then it hit me that regardless, I can still have an amazing shower. Like, that, nobody can take away from me. Nobody's going to control that. I still have hot water, right? Like, that's a given. I can do that. And it was about experiencing pleasure and aliveness in a small moment that is mine alone. And so I started with, what did I want to feel on my skin? What smell do I want? What do I want to listen to whilst I'm here? So that was the layering of it all.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the point. You find the things that you love and you connect to them. And sometimes there's a little thing that you love and then you expand it. So, for example, I had a client who loved birds, but then you get that see-through little box that you put in your window and you put food, and now they come to him all the time.
Yeah.
And he sees the birds at the window of his office where he works from. So he sees birds coming all the time. If you love your garden, why don't you have your morning coffee outside? And how prepared are you to put 28 layers when it's really cold, but to do it outside? Or you're not, and you do it in the warmth of the home, but you're looking at the things that mean something to you. I dance, like, I like music, so I like to listen to music because it's beautiful, but I like to listen to music that I want to dance to. I love singing in the car. So I pick up my kids from school or I go somewhere, and I always like finding what's the next song. I love the surprise element of radio. What's the next song that I'm going to find? And to put it really loud and sing it. I love the comfort of things that I touch. And using your senses is a great way to find your joys. Would you like to smell? Would you like to taste? Would you like to listen to? Would you like to experience with your senses? That will be kind of a guiding, tracking for what you like. Like, I know that you love the rain, or the smell of the rain, or the feel of the rain, or I don't. And that's the beauty, that a joy for you may not be my joy. But as you describe the rain to me, it might inspire me in what do I like that isn't that, but it's
Yeah.
that feeling that Tom's talking about. And
Yeah.
that might be the freshly cut grass, or that might be a foggy day when, the light starts to beam, and I look for that. I go at that particular time of the year to a place where that kind of environment is likely to happen.
Yeah.
Your joys will inspire mine, and mine will inspire yours. And
Yeah.
that's why it's really good if you can have somebody to track it with you and to do it with you, because the more you do it and the more accountable you are, the more it becomes a practice that you live every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking about where I find my joy, and yeah, I think some of the things that you're saying are making me think a bit more about where joy might show up in my life. Yeah.
Are you a music person?
Yeah, I am. I do really like music. I think I'm probably less like you with the surprise, though. Like, I like the music that I like, and I like singing along to it. I love doing that.
And how often do you do that?
Um, when I'm in the car, and yeah, probably more than my partner would like me to do. Because I do sing really loud in the car.
Good.
Not just when I'm on my own. That's the problem.
Yes. Because
yeah.
caring is sharing, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a few things actually that I do take a lot of joy from. One of those is like, so I do quite a lot of running, and I quite often run early in the morning, and running out in nature early in the morning is like a real privilege, because you do get the mist coming off the water, and you do get the beautiful sunrises if you're out at the right time, and you do see little rabbits running around and all that sort of stuff, and that really I think that brings me a lot of joy. I also like the shower and the bath, and I've learned over the years, I think, to enjoy the sensation of being in the shower
Yes,
and
be
being
more
in the bath, and
present in
not
it rather than a rushed
exactly.
moment, this thing that I'm going to
Exactly.
do.
Yeah,
That's the difference,
and
you see. It's
yeah,
that when you're present in it, when you go, oh, this is a joyful moment, there's a relaxation into it rather than another thing that I got to do. Like, I have to have a shower, I have to go and have my bath. You take the rush out of it and you bring the pleasure
yeah,
into it.
yeah. And the other thing I think is I spend a lot of time on trains at the moment because I'm
Yes.
traveling a lot with work, and trains and tubes and other things like that. And I've got quite good at not looking at my phone, not listening to music, not looking at the computer, literally looking out the window of the train, or doing a bit of people watching and just observing other people, which brings me real joy. And when I travel up to Newcastle a lot at the moment, and if you watch out the window, you see so many things that you just miss when you're stuck in your phone or stuck on your laptop, and that includes like deer and rabbits and different people's gardens as you go past their houses, and different flowers and all that sort of stuff. So I really like doing that.
And
Yeah,
it relaxes your
definitely.
mind.
Yeah.
That very action of looking at nature and feeling the joy of it, there's a
Yeah.
relaxation of your entire nervous system. And that's
Yeah,
the
and also,
beauty of joy, is that you connect to your nervous system a lot more. You're more aware of it. You're more aware of what
yeah,
you're feeling. And the leaders that I work with, the majority of them are so focused on doing, like more and more, and what's the next thing. But they've let go of being. There's a
yeah,
discontentment there that I have a great career and I have a family and I have status and like, I've got it. I really do. But I don't really feel alive. Like, what is it that's missing? And joy is a beautiful way to empower you to come alive, because
yeah,
everything that we love comes from feeling alive. So it's this aliveness that is needed rather
yeah,
than the endless repetition and chore and responsibility,
yeah,
because it gets heavy.
yeah. It does. It all comes back to presence for me. And I think lots of people that I work with too, they find it hard to just sit in the present. They're always doing, they're always searching, they're always
Yeah.
thinking about the next thing. And I also think that some of my best ideas come to me when I'm sitting on a train and I'm not doing anything. and you are
Exactly,
just
because
present
you're
in
so
that moment.
relaxed. You're not
Yeah.
overwhelmed by all the things and all the million open tabs that you have in your mind all the time. And it's where creativity comes from, isn't it? In the
Yeah.
shower, when you're not busy, when you're doing something else, ideas come together and create something that you hadn't thought of before.
Yeah.
But it's knowing that
Challenges.
that joy is available to you whenever you want to reach for it, and creating that list will eventually create a menu of your own personalized joys, and any emotion that you have, there will be a joy to match.
Yeah. I'm going to create my list actually, Raquel. I think that's really important. I'm going to do that. Definitely. Um, Raquel, I'm really so grateful for you to for coming and speaking to me today,
No,
and
grateful to be
to the
invited. Thank you so
listeners.
much.
Yeah, you are a joy to speak to. If people want to find out more about Raquel and more about joy, and where can they go and find you? And yeah, where
I
do you hang
am on
out?
Instagram and on LinkedIn as Raquel Braganza Life Coach.
Hmm.
But today I have an offer for your audience.
Woo! We love an
I have
offer.
a little gift to welcome everybody into the world of joy, so you can take some action and start practicing your joy. So if you go to poweredbyjoy.coach, you're
Yeah.
going to find a little something there for you.
Poweredbyjoy.coach. And we're going to find a little something for us. Brilliant. Well, I'm intrigued, and I'm going to go to Powered by Joy straight after this and find out what it's all about. We will put all that in the show notes as
Thank
well,
you.
Raquel. So thank you again. You are a joy to be around, and I love your joy message. And yeah, no doubt we will be seeing you again on one of our podcasts very soon.
I hope so. Look forward
yeah,
to
because
it.
we love speaking to you. Yeah. Thank you again, Raquel. All the best.